I kinda just wanted to talk to you guys. So I sat down at an outdoor playground and now we're gonna have a talk.
Pause. Okay, I realized I didn't give you guys any context. So, hey, I'm Yes for No. That's me sitting there in the red marshmallow jacket. And you can't tell, but I'm recording this video in Valencia, Spain. I moved to Paris 4 months ago, and I've been using my 2 part-time jobs, teaching English and growing YouTube, to help finance my travels across Europe. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks I have for traveling on a budget, and explain how I make it work. Let's go!
First of all, since moving to Paris, I've been to a few places. I've been to Prague, London, Lisbon, and now Valencia. And I have planned for next month to go to Copenhagen, Berlin, and then Munich. Now, concerning how I'm able to afford all this travel, the first way I'm able to travel so cheaply is I live in Paris. And Paris is kind of like a hub, which means that all of the flights and trains out of Paris are like a little bit cheaper than living in a city that's not so well connected. And right now I'm doing most of my traveling primarily in Europe. So by living in Paris, I save a lot on the big expenses such as hopping over from country to country. Okay, the second one, I don't know if the second one can be replicated, but I'm going to tell you because it's how I'm able to afford it. So right now, my apartment only costs me about 150 euros a month. And that's because I live on the same campus as my school. So my housing is subsidized by the school. Now that's dirt cheap, all right? So I don't expect that everybody traveling will be able to afford that kind of thing. But sometimes if you're a student or an English teacher or a part of a group, it's often very common that you can find cheap accommodation through the program that you're working with. If I wasn't paying 150 euros a month, it would probably cost me about 600, 700 euros a month for an apartment in the city of Paris. So just to give you kind of an idea. Third point I was getting to, eating. So eating is going to cost you a ton if you want to eat out, especially in Europe. Maybe not in other parts of the world, but especially in Europe. So one thing I do is that I make sure whenever I'm at home, I am always home cooking my meals. Okay, because that to eat out in Paris is just like it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Trust me, you'll be an amputee by the end if you don't eat your meals at home. Now, if I wanted to save a little bit more money, I could probably home cook my meals while I'm on the road. But I'm just, it's doing the most to do that. So I usually don't. Girls gotta live. Now, the fourth way I save on expenses is whenever I'm traveling, I stay in hostels. So for those of you who have never stayed in a hostel, it's pretty much like hotel meets college dorm, okay? So you're gonna stay in a room of about 4 to 12 people who you've probably never met before. So depending on what type of person you are, it may be a thing you love or it may be a thing that you hate. Personally, I think it's been a super cool and enriching experience, not only to my pocketbook, but also to my mind. And the reason I say that is because I've met people from all over the world through my hostels. At this moment, there's a girl from Italy living in my room, a girl from Argentina, and another one from Chile. 2 weeks ago when I was in Lisbon, there were all these people from Holland and then a guy from France. Even if you're not meeting locals in the city, you get to meet a ton of worldwide citizens just by staying in this place that is cheap for you. So, do it. Hostels are great. Just make sure you bring a lock. And make sure you don't lock it in your storage locker like I did yesterday. Oh, okay. I got a couple other ones. So another way that I save on travel is I try and avoid spending too much time in the super expensive countries, and I spend way more time in the cheaper ones. So just to give you a comparison of some cities, when I stayed in Lisbon, it cost me about $10 a night to rent a hostel. But now my hostel in Copenhagen cost me about 20 euros a night. So theoretically, I could stay in Lisbon about double the time that I'd be able to stay in Copenhagen. So just try and make sure that your longer journeys are spent in those more inexpensive cities. Unless you really want to see the expensive cities, in which case, save your money, because you're going to need it. Other examples of pretty cheap cities are definitely Prague. And I've heard that South America is relatively cheap, and Southeast Asia. Don't quote me on those, though. I haven't done them yet. Just heard it through the grapevine. Oh ho ho ho! This one is so clutch. Alright, so one of the ways that I really save on traveling is I travel on odd days of the week. Alright? Like Tuesdays or Wednesday nights, right? Just like weird times of the week, because those usually have cheaper flight deals. And the reason I'm able to do that is because one of my part-time jobs, YouTube, is super flexible. So I can do it from wherever in the world I want to do it. And my other job, teaching assistant in France, is super clutch because France takes holidays all the time, especially the school system. I have like 4 1 to 2 week vacations. It's just one of the perks of living in Europe. Oh, wow. I'm getting so excited thinking about those vacations. Also, things to take note of are that I'm not picky when it comes to my flights. I usually use that Kayak Explorer tool and put Paris as the starting point and destination as world. Like, show me what you got. And whatever's the cheapest for the times that I have available are what I choose. Last but not least, and this one is super important and I really think needs to be said, travel is my priority. So I avoid spending money on clothes, on unnecessary items, furniture, etc., so that I have the money to spend on going to new places and seeing new things. You know, it's really a mindset, and until you realize that the materialistic items are not your top priority and that travel is really where you want to spend your money, you're probably not going to be traveling as much because your money is going to be diverted into some other source. So yeah, guys, more or less in a nutshell, this is how I afford to travel so much. I guess my top advice for anyone wanting to do the same would probably be save up a little nest egg of about, $3,000. More if you want that comfort of more, less if you don't need that comfort. And then get a job, either online or while traveling. Change your mindset. Know that it's something that you can do. And then 4, just take the leap. Humans adapt like crazy. If we're not able to afford something, we find a way to be able to afford it. So take that leap and know that you will grow wings as you fall. And if you don't, then you die. I'm Yes or No. I'm going to keep moving on. I don't know if I'm going to take you with me or not. So you'll see if I end the video right here.